welcome to the stage the great problema, Renan Ferreira.
So if Renan pulls it off against Francis Ngannou, having left UFC as the UFC champion, would you regard Ferreira as the man across all heavyweight MMA?
Champion in the world title. So, this is a new belt. This is a new day in the sport. Renan very much represents and we're bringing it.
Hello and welcome back to Combat X with Alan Dawson, available on Roku, Prime Video, YouTube. Today I've got a guest who is an MMA champion, someone with dynamite in their midst, and who is ready to put it all on the line in the biggest fight of their career, October 19th, in a PFL MMA super fight against Francis Ngannou. This is Combat X, Renan Ferreira. Welcome to the show, champ.
Thank you, brother. Obrigado, mo.
I just want to start by going back in time a little bit and asking you what it was like, as a younger Brazilian training with the pioneers in the game like Big Nog and Little Nog.
Coming from a very small town in Brazil and going to a big city like Rio to train with these big stars at Team Nogueira, I learned a lot, it taught me a lot, and it gave me a solid foundation for me to be able to get on that international stage and get to this point in my career now.
Preparou muito aí para vir para os eventos internacionais, para fazer as minhas primeiras lutas internacionais e me deu essa base aí dura que eu tenho, né? Com certeza vindo aí a treinar com esses grandes campeões.
How did you find MMA in such a small town, or how did the passion for combat sports develop in a small area?
So actually, I didn't find the sport found me. I started as a social project in my small town. They had a social program for kids, and I started in jiu-jitsu with Master Charles. And then in 2013, he did an MMA event, and that's where I debuted, and ever since then I just fell in love and I never looked back.
Great to hear. Were you always a heavyweight growing up, or did you always shoot up in height from a young age?
So I've always been a really big guy, tallest in class, but I've always practiced sports. I did basketball, handball, all kinds of sports. So I have a lot of athleticism, and because of all the different disciplines that I practice, it gave me a lot of motor coordination. So that's where you see my different style, thanks to always having some sort of sport in my life.
And what sort of developments have you, Renan, had and improvements in your game since training in South Florida at American Top Team?
Desde quando eu cheguei.
So at ATT, we have some of the best heavyweights in the world, and just the human resources that we have at ATT. I've been able to take advantage of it, and I've learned a lot, and it definitely has helped me grow in confidence and to realize that, I have the talent and I'm good at this. And being able to train with these guys, it's been an amazing learning experience for me, and I think overall my entire game has benefited a lot and improved a lot.
Have those resources, especially at heavyweight in AT&T, they must be so useful right now training for Francis Ngannou. Is there one person in particular that's really helping Renan the most in sparring or training?
Com certeza tem.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have a lot of amazing heavyweights like Junior Dos Santos, always helping me train, and Bigfoot, and even Vitor and Marcelo Kong, and so lots of talent, and we are working together. They've been giving me a lot of support so that we can win this fight as a team.
AT&T, there's just like this conveyor belt of champions, whether Dustin Poirier, Renato Moicano, Pantoja, Adriano Moraes. Who does Renan think is the next champion from AT&T?
Definitely, ATT is a conveyor belt of champions, and I think we're going to have multiple champions coming from ATT. And you did mention that some of the girls, they're really outstanding. Like, for example, Dakota Ditcheva, she's making it to the PFL Championship final this year.
Awesome. And going back as just recently last year, how did life change, if at all, for Renan after winning $1 million in the 2023 PFL Championship?
Mudou da água.
Oh, my life changed from, we have a saying in Brazil, water to wine. Completely different. I'm able to invest in my camps, and live comfortably and take care of my family, take care of my parents. And it's very humbling and satisfying to be able to make a living off of my passion.
We've got a similar saying here, from water to wine, we'd say from rags to riches. But is Renan, does he drink wine, or is it cachaça or caipirinha?
Eu disse que...
So once or twice a year, I do like to drink a beer or two, for special occasions when I'm home in Goiás with my family. But it's a rare occasion, maybe once or twice a year, that's it.
Renan, you've been in the cage with Fabricio Verdum and Ryan Bader. What's the most fun you've had in the sport?
So it's always fun, and I'm always really happy to be able to fight. But I really love that face-to-face moment, right? When I'm out on the stage and we're looking at each other and it's tense, and it's always fun. I step in the cage. It's always a good time.
Bom, sabendo que aquele palco é todo meu, então aquilo me traz uma sensação maravilhosa, uma felicidade imensa.
How much of a good time was it being face-to-face with Francis Ngannou for the first time?
Com certeza, momento que eu...
It was super fun. It was definitely interesting. And it's always cool to have that face-to-face and feel that intensity and that energy in the air. And I am preparing and training hard for this fight to give, the fans a good fight and something fun to watch.
How different does it feel for a build-up for a fight like this compared to all the other experiences Renan has had? Even though he's been in, competed against legends, even though he's trained with, top-tier athletes, is this another level compared to what he's experienced before?
So every camp is different, right? Every opponent is different, but this fight, it's special. It's the greatest challenge of my life and the greatest opportunity of my life. I realize that, I have a very tough opponent, and I am training hard. I'm taking this very seriously. I'm preparing. Like I said, this is the greatest challenge, but also the greatest opportunity. So this is a very special fight for me.
I agree. And with Francis, he had a 2-fight swing in boxing, knocked Tyson Fury down, who many saw at the time as one of the best in boxing for a long while. But recently got knocked out by Anthony Joshua. Does Renan think this fight is more competitive now? Like, does he think that Francis Ngannou's chin might be weak, as he just got finished by Anthony Joshua? Or does he think the striking that Francis now brings to the cage will be more refined because of those experiences in boxing?
Eu acho que ele chega com boxe mais...
So I definitely think he will come in with a much more refined boxing, definitely. But in watching, those two fights, it definitely gave me some ideas of where I can take advantage of that game as well.
Na direção da luta.
Interesting. Love to see that. And we're talking about the magnitude of this fight, and Francis, there's narratives, that we've heard in recent years about, a big fight with Deontay Wilder in PFL, cross promotion against John Jones with Francis. Does Renan think that if he beats Francis Ngannou, those fights become available to him? That he could be the one to fight Deontay Wilder in MMA, that he could be the one to fight John Jones in a PFL versus UFC kind of cross promotion?
Nesse momento,
to be honest, Alan, I haven't really given it a thought of what happens after the fight. I am so focused on this fight. This is the greatest opportunity of my life, to win this and to consecrate myself as a great heavyweight. Honestly, I haven't given it any thought. I'm sure that after this fight is, it's over, we can sit down, we can talk about what's next. But right now, this is what I'm focused on, this fight.
Muito focado nessa luta com o Francis.
Yeah. And on the subject of great fighters, who is on Renan Ferreira's Mount Rushmore of all-time great Brazilian fighters in MMA? if you had to pick four fighters to go on the Mount Rushmore of all-time great Brazilians?
Quatro ídolos.
There's so many Brazilian fighters that made history in MMA. You know, for me, definitely Lil Nog, Big Nog. You know, they've been with me since the beginning. José Aldo, he's done a lot for the sport. The guy's a legend. Anderson Silva goes without saying. You know, there's so many. It's hard to pick just four, but those are the four.
I agree there. It's sport for choice when it comes to just the four. Is there anything else Renan Ferreira wishes to share, if he's got a message for Francis Ngannou or any fans that will be watching on October 19th in the PFL super fight?
Dizer que eu vou estar muito.
So I want to say I'm coming into this fight very well prepared. This is a dream come true. You know, I'm fighting a very, very tough opponent, a guy that, you know, left the UFC when he was at the top of his game. So I can't promise the outcome of the fight, but I can promise it's going to be a hell of a fight, and it's going to be a fun one.
I agree with that, and if you want to watch that fight, it's going to be October 19th. It's the PFL super fight. This was Combat X, Renan Ferreira.